Good afternoon, boys and girls. Today for homework, today is Thursday, and it's your last night of homework for the week. We are going to be looking at module 18.1, which is about fixed and variable expenses. We started talking about it in class today. We learned today that fixed expenses are ones that occur regularly and the amount does not change. And then we learned that variable expenses are ones that do change based on your need or choice. Okay, so fixed expenses are those expenses or things that we spend on money where the amount you pay does not change. And then the variable expenses are those in which the amount of money that you spend does change. Okay, so let's practice this a little bit more looking at the share and show on page 642. So on page 642, let's take a look at that first problem. It says that Betsy pays a trash service to pick up the household trash once a week. The cost is $23 a month. Trash pickup is a blank expense. So we need to decide, is this going to be a fixed expense that does not change or a variable expense in which it does change? Well, I noticed that if she's paying, if she's getting trash service once a week, and the cost is $23 every month, that tells me that that's the same price that she's paying every month, so the price does not change. Therefore, her trash pickup is a fixed expense. Okay, so in 6 months, the family pays, well, let's determine how much money she would spend for trash pickup over the course of 6 months. Well, if she uses the service for 6 months and the cost is $23 a month, that tells me we need to multiply the number of months by the cost per month, which is $23, to find the total amount of money that she would spend on this fixed expense over the time of 6 months. So that would be 23 times 6. So that equals 138. So over the course of 6 months, she would spend $138 on her fixed expense of trash pickup. Okay, and let's take a look at the next problem. The next problem says that Mrs. Byer goes grocery shopping once a week. In 1 month, she spent $99.65, $122.56, $130.45, and $145. What was the total monthly expense? Okay, so it says grocery bills are a blank expense. Well, I noticed that during that month, every time she went to the grocery store, she spent a different amount of money, which tells me her cost did not stay the same. It varied. It changed each time she went. So again, an expense that changes and it does not remain regular is a variable expense. So her groceries were a variable expense. So let's determine how much she spent this month for all her groceries. So we're going to add $99.65, $122.56, $130.45, and $145 even. I'm going to add a decimal point and 2 zeros to make it easier to add. Bring my decimal point down, so 5, 5, and 6 make 16. And 5 and 4 make 9, plus 6 is 15, plus 1 is 16. 9 and 1 make 10, plus 2 is 12, plus 5 is 17. 9 and 1 make 10, plus 2 is 12, plus 3 is 15, plus 4 is 19. And then 1, 1, 1, and 1 makes 4. So for that month, Mrs. Byer spends $495.66. Okay, so let's look at the list on the right hand side, and we're going to sort these according to whether they would be a fixed expense or a variable expense. And then we want to choose one and explain why we placed it there. Well, actually, I'm going to explain why I place each one in each location. So when I look at clothing, I'm going to go ahead and say that clothing would be a variable expense, that the price does not remain the same for many reasons. You could shop at different stores. Different stores have clothing that cost a different amount of money. So if you were to buy your clothes at Walmart as compared to, let's say, Neiman Marcus in the mall, You're going to spend a lot less money at Walmart. So that's definitely a variable expense. I'm going to take your car. So the next one is a car payment. Well, usually when you take out a loan to buy a car, they send you a bill every month and you have to pay it. It's your car payment that you have to pay. And it's usually for the same amount of money each month. So I'm going to say a car payment would be a fixed expense. Okay, vacation. Vacation, I would say, is a variable expense. Depending on where you go. If you go to San Antonio, which is a different city in Texas, that's probably going to cost a lot less than if you traveled to Fiji, which is an entirely different country on an island. That's going to be quite more expensive. So definitely vacation would be a variable expense. Groceries. We already talked earlier. Groceries are a variable expense. The amount changes depending on need. Some days you might need more, and some days you might need less things from the grocery store. It also depends on the products that you're buying. The products have different prices and different values. Entertainment. I would say entertainment would be a variable as well. I would say that it's probably a lot more expensive to spend an afternoon at Main Event than renting a movie from Netflix and watching that at home with popcorn and candy. So definitely can see that that price would change. So entertainment definitely would be a variable expense. Electric bills I would put under variable as well. Some months you might use more, and some months you might use less electricity. I know in the summertime I use a lot more electricity because we're home all summer. We're using that electricity, and we use a lot of, we're trying to cool our house when it gets really hot in the summer, and that tends to cost a lot more money. Okay, your cell phone bill, if you have a set rate that you pay every month for your cell phone and you do not go over on your minutes, then I would put your cell phone as a fixed expense. However, I know me personally, there's been times where we have gone over on our data usage and my bill was more expensive because of that reason. And in that situation, it would be a variable expense. House payments, fixed expense. I know my rent, it's putting fixed there, is the same amount of money every month. I pay the same amount of money to live in my house every month. Gasoline would be a variable expense, believe it or not. If you ever drive by a gas station, they always have the prices out front on a big sign, and the prices change almost daily. Almost daily. If not daily, definitely every few days or at least once a week. And then loan payments. A loan payment is a payment that you make on an amount of money that somebody loans you or that you borrow. And those are fixed. You usually take out a loan and make an agreement to pay a given amount of money back each month until the loan is paid off, and that would be a fixed expense. Okay, so this is a little bit about fixed expenses and variable expenses. So now I want you to practice on your own today. And when you are practicing on your own today, I want you to complete the homework and practice page. It's page 645. I want you to practice. I want you to complete questions 1 and questions 2, question 3 and question 4. So I want you to complete the entire page on the front only, not the back. Okay? Good luck. If you have any questions, please send me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks.